Ingrid Rizzolo. It's time for my talk. It is Martin Luther King's Day, the day we celebrate all his achievements and what he has done for America, what he has done to make America great. This is an open letter to the late Dr. Martin Luther King. Dear Dr. King, we view the 54th anniversary of your death as a time of both celebration and reflection. As we celebrate, we say thank you, Dr. King. We stand on your shoulders. You braved dogs for us, took beatings for us, went to jail for us, and in the end, your life was taken from us. We tearfully and humbly say a tearful thank you. Your legacy looms large, Dr. King. Without you, the lives of us African Americans would have been much different. We celebrate you as a giant and our hero who fought for racial equality and a more inclusive society. You were fighting against the Goliath of discrimination, subjugation, and political hypocrisy that turned a blind eye or otherwise gave legislative support to the indignities that were rained down on African Americans in your day. With little resources and much courage, you kicked off conversations that were long in coming. Conversations that jerked the conscience of America as you fought for civil rights and equality for people who had long been subjugated, a people who were victims of legalized as well as illegal genocide. Genocide that was generated by legislation that withheld civil rights of African Americans and demonstrated by legal and illegal beatings and lynchings and annihilation of their built things. Dr. King, you fought to give us worth as humans, to give us hope and a sense of dignity in the midst of the devastation and catastrophe that was the context for Black lives. Because of you and your fights and your sacrifices for us, Dr. King, in many Black families today, they are doctors and lawyers. They were creators of vaccine in our current pandemic times. They were neuroscientists and neurologists and music producers and CEOs, all because of you, Dr. King. The movement you started didn't stop with one bullet. It snowballed down to us, building momentum as it came. As Jesse Jackson said, one bullet could not stop the movement. So, Dr. King, we are beginning to see the fruits of your struggle. We now have so many firsts. So thank you, Dr. King. And we have had Barack Obama, the first Black president in U.S. history. General State Colin Powell, the first Black Secretary of State. Loretta Lynch, the first Black woman Attorney General. Six-time NBA champion MVP Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Retired Army General Lloyd Austin as Secretary of Defense. California Senator Kamala Harris is now the first Black Vice President of the United States. Yes, Dr. King. Because of you and your selfless fight for us, the scales have begun to tip in our favor. Your legacy rolls on. People were afraid to confront your message, Dr. King, for the self it would reveal. That is why they kill you. But I want you to know, Dr. King, that on that day when you were martyred, it was a good day. The bullet that felled you, Dr. King, vaulted you into catalytic status that rocked not just the conscience of the American people, but sent shock waves to the consciences of a hitherto apathetic world. Many began to see the error of their ways. They began to apprehend how their prejudices were not only destroying the fabric of the American nation, but also hurting the image of an authentic democracy which placed America on the world stage as a model to be emulated. In the aftermath of your death, of your murder, of your public lynching, they had to face the hypocrisy. Lyndon Johnson, the then president, rushed to pass the Fair Housing Act that prohibited housing discrimination. We also recall that prior to this, you led a march on Selma that triggered legalized violence of black bodies, the gravity of the outrage of which precipitated the Voting Rights Act in 1965. You did complete your mission, Dr. King, despite how sometimes you feel yours was a life that was taken too soon. Only God has answers to those questions. But as to the question as to whether you completed the mission is a matter of perspective. The journey of life is a marathon. It is not and never was intended to be a sprint. It is a long journey. You ran your half of the marathon, Dr. King. But moreover, the wheels of justice turn slowly as time has shown. But those wheels have begun to turn, Dr. King, as previously hinted to. I also want you to know that those changes I previously alluded to are only the tip of the iceberg. I want you to know that the baton you passed was grabbed onto by capable others who are equally passionate about the cause of black dignity and equality. You started the journey and blazed the trail which others are following in your absence. The Black Lives Matter movement is doing fine. You will be proud of them, Dr. King. As a result of them, Black Americans are beginning to have greater visibility. It must be noted, however, that in some ways, the devaluation from wounds lives continue. The Black trauma from wounds of slavery, Jim Crow, and public and private lynchings and church burnings and police brutality on the likes of George Floyd and others continue. There is still need for more racial equality and economic justice. And while we know there is still work to be done, we are not daunted. But we rise to the task with great hope, forever catalyzed by your example. Dr. King, you can rest assured we will continue to be spurred on by the motivations embedded in your now much lauded speech, I Have a Dream. We continue to dream. Yours respectfully, IR. This version of Gentlemen, I cannot end this version of my talk citing the dream of Martin Luther King. His dream for America. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children one day will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama with its vicious racist, with its governor having its lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys, and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. Of the Lord, it will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is a hope. This is a faith I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of a nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hills of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mountains of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let them ring from the Lookout Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and from Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And when this happens, and when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing of the old free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. We look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. This has been my talk. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Bye for now. This is Ingrid with Swallow signing off.